I'm offering my insights, and he's going, this is great. This is what two high-level people can do when they get together, is they can benefit from one another. So just take that into consideration. We didn't exchange any money with each other when we were together, but we exchanged a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So questions are infinitely superior to answers. I grew up in a small coal mining town, by the way, Price, Utah, it's called, and my grandparents, actually my dad, my great-grandparents are all coal miners. So it's not like I came from a bunch of money and that's how I figured out about money. It's like I learned how to be resourceful. I learned how to take my abilities and talents and a concept I call soul purpose. And this is something to write down. S-O-U-L, purpose, soul purpose. Everyone has a soul purpose, not everyone lives it. Everyone has a soul purpose, and it's a combination of your values, your passions, and your unique abilities. Your values, your passions, and your unique abilities combined for the highest intention or purpose in life, the greatest context of living. So soul purpose is taking the best that you have to offer to be able to deliver the most value in the world. Okay? So I started out not necessarily fully living my soul purpose, because I started when I was 15 detailing cars. And that was my first business. But I guess I was kind of a nerd because I won $5,000 with that business, and I decided I wanted to invest it. And I did want to get rich quick, though. I wasn't like totally nerdy. I wanted to get really rich really quick. And so everyone I was talking to was telling me a really slow way. Like I knew the president of a credit union because I detailed all the cars that they repossessed. And I asked him where I should invest my money. Do you know where he told me? Well, yeah, in a credit union, in a CD, exactly. And not a short-term CD, a long-term CD. And here's a simple equation everyone can use. It's called the rule of 72. You take whatever interest rate's out there, you divide it into 72, and it tells you how long it's going to take for that money to double. And I couldn't imagine being that old when I learned how long it was going to take for that money to double. So that didn't really work for me. So I thought, who do I know that's really wealthy? So my uncle, you know, he was really wealthy. He was a vice president for Pacific Corp. And so I went and I asked him where to invest, and he told me Novell. Anyone heard of this company, Novell, before? They used to own 87% of the internet traffic back in the day. They own 0.00087% today. He told me to invest in Novell. Fortunately, my aunt pulled me aside and said, you know, your Uncle Bill makes a lot of money at work and he pisses it away in the stock market, so I don't know if you should listen to him. But I still kept asking questions. And one thing I want to let you know is questions are infinitely superior to answers. You're going to learn things in life that people have told you, but it didn't make sense to you, and you go, I wish I would have listened. But when you ask a question to get the answer, it's something that you're actually looking for. So if you want better results in life, start asking better questions. When you meet people, don't be worried about how much money they have. Worry about the knowledge that they have, and start to gain knowledge, because we could all learn from each other. I call that relationship capital. It's the most underutilized resource that's out there in the world. It's that everyone has their unique ability, that has their own soul purpose, and they have their own passion, so they're paying attention to things that I'm not necessarily paying attention to. I just spent a couple days with Joe Mercola, and the whole time I'm just asking him things about health. The entire time I'm taking notes, and he's sharing all these things with me because I wanted the relationship capital. Now the whole time I'm offering my insights, and he's going, this is great. This is what two high-level people can do when they get together, is they can benefit from one another. So just take that into consideration. We didn't exchange any money with each other when we were together, but we exchanged a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So questions are infinitely superior to answers. And fortunately, I have an infinite curiosity for finance. And so I ended up starting in financial services June of 1998. I was still in college, and I did all the stuff that I kind of speak out against these days. I sold life insurance, I sold mutual funds, and then I repented for those things because, you know, ultimately I used all the cliches that you hear. Like what they'll say in the world of investing, if it's not working, is that the market's on sale. Well, that's a really bad sell. That's like paying your tuition today, and then tomorrow it goes on sale for 50% off, but you can't buy it for 50% off because you paid for it today. That's what people say, the market's on sale. That's a really bad deal. Or they say, don't worry, you're in it for the long haul. I don't know about you guys, but the long haul sounds like a really crappy place to be, where it's like, I think of it like a wheelbarrow in the middle of the summer in Atlanta when it's really humid with cinder blocks and a hill that never ends. That's what the long haul sounds like to me, you know? And it's just an excuse that brokers give you. And by the way, the reason they're called brokers, anyone know? Well, they're broker than you are, for one, you know, and I know you're a student right now, but you have all this potential within you if you go out and you embrace who you are, you embrace your values, your passions, your abilities, and you go out and you ask yourself 3 questions moving forward. Number 1, what service do I have to offer this world? Number 2, what problem exists in the world that I can uniquely solve? And number 3, what can I do that delivers value to people? If you continually ask those 3 questions, that's more powerful than 99% of the population that's stuck in this question. The population's question is usually, how do I make more money? How can I get more money, even more like, right? And get money for most people is something for nothing. It's not about value. It's not about helping and serving. It's not about anyone else. It's a survival mentality that starts with that scarcity mindset, which is the first paradigm that destroys all wealth. Scarcity is a mindset of fear and of doubt and of worry. Scarcity is a mindset of entitlement. Scarcity is a mindset that nothing's possible, and if someone else has something, that's less for me. There's not enough patience out there. There's not enough, money out there. That's what scarcity does, and it fools us into thinking that, and we take actions accordingly, and because of those actions, we end up broke. Does that make sense? Scarcity destroys wealth. But on the other hand, there's a different way to think about the world, and it's a world of abundance. When we see the world as a place of possibility, when we can think more resourcefully, where it's not about fear, it's about faith in ourselves, that we can take a step in the right direction, and that we know that we have something of value to offer before the dollars even come in, right? I mean, one day the value you have to offer, the money will catch up with that. It's always this line where you start learning first, you start growing who you are and what you can contribute to the world, and eventually you get that out to the world in a big way, and you get paid off for that, right? But it starts with who you are, what you stand for, you know? And here's a simple exercise with that. One of the simplest ways to just have insight into your soul purpose is a little equation here. Just write down, I am a person of, okay? What are you a person of? I would say for me, I'm a person of passion. Fill in the blank. What's that word that describes you, or a few words? And by the way, consider this, progress, not perfection. Some of you are going to take this and you think, I need to have 7 days of meditation in a hill, isolated, where I can perfectly think through all these things so that when I state it, people just float in the air with bliss because it's such a perfect statement. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for done is better than perfect, progress over perfection. I'm a person of, right? I live my soul purpose by removing the obstacle of money and having it become an asset for someone. I live my soul purpose by connecting other people to their soul purpose and making sure money is there for them to finance that soul purpose, right? That would be some examples. And the third piece is I stand for what? What is it that you stand for? What is it that you stand for? What is it that you're committed to? What cause is worthy of your life? When you break it down to I'm a person of, I live my life by, and I'm a stand for, those 3 things. I'm a stand for making purpose profitable. I'm a stand for people are the greatest assets, not a stock, not a bond, not a piece of real estate, but the value that we have to offer for one another. That's what taking a stand is. I'm a stand for performance-based finance, not for handing money over and hoping that it works out one day. What are you a stand for? Because if you get clear about that, then it's not just about the money will follow. If it's just about the money for you and you're trying to chase that, it will get exhausting and the problem will outweigh the money one day. But when the vision's greater than the problem, you'll be resourceful enough to get past it. Because when you go into business or when you leave this institution and you're out there embarking on a career, I can promise you this, you're going to have some times that are pretty difficult. You're going to have some situations that were unanticipated and unexpected. And if you're doing anything of consequence, you're going to make some mistakes. I don't know, I've made a couple of mistakes, like I had a video I considered playing, and it was like a bio video before I came on, and it was going to tell you all the reasons that I'm cool, and it was going to be embarrassing as hell for me. And what it should say is, oh yeah, I made some major mistakes along the way. I learned and wrote the book, Killing Sacred Cows, from the bad decisions I made, from the investments that didn't work out. Like, I followed the financial gurus, and they would say, you got to buy real estate. It's a good time to get in real estate. And if you're listening to gurus now, by the way, that's what they're saying now. It's time to get back in real estate. It's amazing. People got slapped across the face in 2008. Warren Buffett said you find out who's swimming naked when the tide rolls back. Well, with real estate, I was swimming buck naked, The tide rolled back, and I realized it wasn't just that I was smart. It was that everyone was making money in real estate. And so people started to learn a lesson that maybe real estate isn't right for them. But here's the lesson. risk is not in the investment, risk is in the investor. Meaning for some people, real estate's a great investment. But if you have no passion, if you have no purpose, you have no knowledge, and you don't want to gain new ability, that is not a good investment for you. It might be a distraction. And the absence of clarity of your sole purpose, it's impossible to distinguish the difference between an opportunity and a distraction. In the absence of clarity of your sole purpose, it's impossible to determine whether something's an opportunity or a distraction. Almost every investment people think is going to work out. A lot of them don't. You know, and no one comes and sells an investment by saying, this is highly speculative, there's a 99% chance it's going to lose. You should buy today before you miss out. Now, they do say that last thing, but not the first thing, right? And the biggest risk for you if you just jump into investments or you start taking money out of your business and start putting it into things that you don't know or understand because of someone smart or some charismatic financial expert, you're going to lose, because what about the community that you're trying to impact? What about the business you're trying to build? Don't prematurely diversify. Don't prematurely pull money out of your company. I'm pretty sure when you add the word premature before something, it's usually a bad thing.